Word from the Lord. I just trust that the Lord has been blessing you, and we're here in a brand new year. God has showed blessing on all of us, and He lets it rain on the just as well as the unjust. And we're just so thankful for His graces and for His mercies, and continue to give Him glory and give Him honor. Just for a few moments, we're going to look at Philippians chapter 3, the verses of 13 and 14. It's a familiar text, and we're going to give a thought from that. It reads like this and says these words. Brethren, he said, I count myself to have apprehended. But there's one thing I do, forgetting those things which are behind, and reaching forth to those things which are before. Verse 14 says, I press toward the mark of the prize of the high calling of God in Christ Jesus. I want to talk just for a few moments from the subject, forward for 2014. Forward for 2014. After we have come through a year, it's a great blessing to be here in 2014. But we want to go forward. We want to do bigger things. We want to do better things in 2014. Just want to take a few words from this text that Paul writes. And the first thing he says, and it's interesting, if I'm going to go forward in 14, he says, the first thing that I've learned to do is forgetting those things which are behind. There's a certain power there that when you release the power of the past, then you can accept the future. So many of us have problems with the futures, and the future is really not the problem. The problem is in the past. You see, when you allow the past to dictate your future, you're always going to have a problem. In other words, you can't drive a car looking backwards. You're going to crash every time. Let me say that again. You can go forward, but if you keep looking back, you're going to crash. Same thing with life. If you continue to try to go forward when you're looking back in the past, you're going to crash. So Paul said, the first thing that I do, I forget those things which are behind me. And then he says this, and then I reach forth. I reach forward to those things that are out there in front of me. Yeah, you got to put forth some effort. You got to extend yourself a little bit to reach for those things that are before you. The new year, 2014, we haven't even got out of January yet, but plans ought to be made that I'm going to reach forth. I'm going to go forward. So this is what Paul is saying. I forgot those things behind, but right now I'm going to reach forward. And then he says, after all, then I'm going to do what? Press toward the mark of the high calling. There is a mark. There is a goal that needs to be set. If you have a goal that's set, that's something for you to press toward. And it's interesting because when there is a goal, there's also a mindset. What do I mean a mindset? You got your mind focused on something. There's an object there. He said there's a mark that I've placed there. There's something that I'm going after. And when you have something in your life that's positive, that you're going after, set yourself a goal. Set yourself a mark there. And I guarantee you, if you keep your mind and your heart on that mark, you will accomplish. So that's why I say go forward in 2014. And if you do those things, forget the things that are behind, leave them back there, and then do what? Reach forth, reach forward, and then press toward that mark or that goal that you've set. If you do those things, you will be blessed.